What's up, guys? This is Ninja Owner Ninja. So I made it to about 2:35. I basically was gonna leave to comment, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to finish eating. I can't watch this again. I can't watch anything without feeling some kind of way, and it pisses me off. I ain't happy about it, but it is what it is. So, we have this video, and so I'm gonna play it and pause it where I put the timestamp at and read you the comment. We'll see.
Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
One of the most insane podcast clips ever has just dropped, and I have to share this because of how wild this is. The fact that this happened while they were recording. So during
The fact that this happened while they were recording. And basically, my first comment was, while they are recording, quote unquote, by the way. And I said, you realize, I'm talking to you, by the way, whatever your name was, the Rational National. Basically, they are not live. I mean, they are, but they aren't. Um, basically, the point is you are hearing about it and you know about it because they wanted to include it. Like, if they didn't want to include it, you wouldn't have known about it, basically. Because, yeah, they are recording, and yeah, they're not recording, but they have many times. If you are a YouTube or Joe Rogan watcher, which you're not, I'm sure someone told you, and you don't watch it, but someone told you, and you decided to make it a big deal. And this is the problem with the world, by the way. You don't know, but you're talking about it as if you know when you don't, and you only know what they told you, and the person that told you is a dumbass, and they're wrong too, basically. And I know because I have watched that show once upon a time, and I watch it still now. Like when I take a shower, I'll play it, basically. And I know because they've talked about it, mentioned it, and how they'll stop recording or they'll edit something out. Do you want that included? Nah. And then they say, okay, we're back. So, things like that, basically. So the fact that it was there, I don't know why you're bringing it up. Like, it's shocking, basically. Yes, it is live, or yes, it is live, or you say that, whatever, but you can cut out whatever and they want, whatever. Yeah, so it's just a dumb point, basically, because what I said. Whatever doesn't make sense, but this is why I go over to you. No, why I tend to cast things live, right? So already again, you're like, oh my god, I can't believe they said this, and while they are recording, like if they wanted to, it would have been cut. You realize that you're seeing it because they wanted you to see it, right? They're not stupid. They've been doing this for a very long time. This is Joe Rogan. This ain't some asshole down the street. This ain't some fake or some loser or pretender or like you guys. This is some false alpha. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just doing his thing. And he's been doing his thing, and that's why he's great, basically. And you just, like, cancel culture, you're trying to like find what is it, like Bill Burr talks about how arguing, like you argue with a woman, but it's how you argue with someone who's smarter than you, basically. And it's like the same kind of thought process as reverse psychology, but this is more Pavlov, the bell and the dogs and steaks, basically. Like, you believe a certain thing because a bell went off and immediately like, oh, negative, negative, but it's not. But there's no steak, for example, right? You're drilling and there's no steak, basically is my point. And that's the kind of reaction that they want, basically. So I don't know why you brought that up like it's a big deal when in reality it doesn't really matter.
During an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast with his guest FBI director Kash Patel, Joe Rogan discovers that Elon Musk is accusing Trump of being in the Epstein files through the tweet that I'm sure you all have already seen or heard of, where Elon Musk said, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice..."
I know you guys have seen it or whatever, but it says, and then he goes on to say, like, why? Like, this is why America's stupid. Because you keep on making your content safe for babies so they never have to grow up to watch it. And you guys want so much money and so much attention that you're willing to go like, is it your baby? Is it your baby that you want to take? Like, literally, come on, stop it.
Nice day, Donald J. Trump. I'm going
Now that I think about it, you're kind of a pedophile in a way. Like, it's the same kind of, like, you're doing the same thing that guys do with, like, younger girls. Basically, you're kissing everyone's ass to make them like you. You're sucking up to them. Like, I'm getting banned, timed down, and fucking murdered, basically. Politically. Getting politically murdered, and y'all are just, like, watching quietly. Like, good bitches, just watching America burn and fall. Essentially, I can guarantee if Joe Rogan was here or if Jordan Peterson was here, they would say something. Hey, well, we agree. Why are you blocking him? But you guys are like, yeah, why are you blocking him? And you don't say anything until then. This is why I call you false alpha. But anyways, continue.
to play for you their initial reaction here and get to my thoughts on...
No, it's not an initial reaction. It's just the one that they showed you. Like, it may be, it may not be. You don't know. So stop acting like you know. Take the foot out of your mouth, fucking shoehead dipshit.
where this conversation
I
goes.
do echo.
This is going to come up because it's been going on since we've been recording here. Elon and Trump seem to be in a bit of a spat, Joe. You want to check the tweet that Elon just put out a little bit ago?
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I'm not participating in any of that conversation
What
between
is he?
Elon
Have a
and Trump.
nice day, DJD. Someone should take his phone away.
They're going back and forth about different things. And
Yeah. Listen,
Well, he said he was disappointed in Elon.
yeah,
Yeah.
they told him to leave.
Jesus Christ, that's a crazy thing to say. How does he know? Does he know that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files? Or does he have access to the Epstein files?
I don't know how he would, but I'm just staying out of the Trump Elon thing. That's way outside
What
my
the
lane.
fuck are they doing?
I know my lane, and that ain't it.
I just don't. I mean, I understand he owns Twitter. I think it's bad for your mental health. I think posting things public all day and arguing with people all day is bad for you.
Well, you raise a great point. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Half of what we have to respond to is the click army on social media.
Right.
Right.
And 50% of that plus is bots.
50% of that plus is bots, but let's take the other 50% of that.
I'm sorry. Elon Musk just tweeted out that Trump is in the Epstein files, and the conversation that comes out of that is discussions around social media bots. Can you imagine?
Hold on. Before we talk about imagining anything, go back.
Epstein files and the conversation that...
What conversation? they just mentioned something. Hey, do you know Ben? And you pause the video. Oh my God, why are you talking about Ben? What the fuck? Basically, my comment. Oh my fucking God, my comment. Bro, you don't even know where he was going after that. At the very least, we don't know. What the fuck? Why are you two being part of the issue where someone else tells you what to think instead of letting them decide like you should, like what everyone should do, and just let them make up their mind and how they feel, right? But no, you want to play Fox News and oh, by the way, the evil Republicans or the fat bastard Trump, like it's propaganda basically. In a sense, it's the same thing that Fox News and the people on the right do. You're doing it too. Like two wrongs don't make a right, bitch. So instead of letting them decide, you are like, well, I might as well lead the sheep too, or lead some sheep too, when you should be trying to stop it and make people realize it's just a game to them to get what they want by leading you the way they want you to go. Like, for example, leading you off a cliff. I want your land. So, therefore, I'm going to keep COVID happen and we'll keep moving the goalposts, basically. Or, for example, I want tariffs. So, we made change the law and change the rules so that Trump can announce, "Oh, I'm going to make a stock on what's it called, tariffs on steel," and everyone pulled out of steel, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene ran in there and bought it all up. Like that's an example of what's going on, and I hope to God that her and everyone involved loses everything, basically. But again, and that's where I stopped. By the way, I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna go." Like, I can't. This is stupid. I go to my room and stream because this is fucking stupid. Like, you're literally playing the same fucking game that they're playing, but they're better at it than you. You're playing fucking, you're reporting the news, but they are reaping the reward. You're like, oh my God, they murdered Becky. Well, guess what? Becky's dead. Stop curing cancer. Preventative care is the best care, basically. Keeping them from rigging the game is a lot better than pointing out that they are rigging the game. Wouldn't you agree? That's kind of the point here. And for you to go and say, "Oh, what are you talking about? Joe Rogan and whatever. Oh my God, Joe, you don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. The fuck? Like all they said was bots are a problem." Right, bots are a problem. And then you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is I'm talking about that thing? What the hell? Give a chance to fucking get the ball rolling. They just fucking woke up out of bed and like, why aren't you wearing your suit yet? It's like, I just woke up. Give me a fucking minute, dude. I haven't got a chance to scratch my nuts yet. Like, fuck. But just continue, you fucking twerp.
That comes out of that is discussions around social media bots.
Who cares? We gotta see the direction. We don't know. We don't know what the fuck they're gonna say until they say it. So you jumping the gun is not fixing anything.
Can you imagine if Rogan was interviewing Biden's FBI director?
Whatever you're about to say is stupid, and it doesn't matter. Again, because there is no context there. We don't know what the context was, and you're bitching before they even set the context down, and now you're creating a scenario where we don't have the context yet, and then you're telling us, now imagine if the same thing, like, what are we imagining? What's going on? We're not in your head, bro. Did you graduate from high school? Did you go to college? Like, understand the reason why you do those things is because what they're supposed to teach you is the psychology. This is why psychology should be in high school, basically, because you need to be aware. Like, for example, I didn't know English. The whole thing about English was not so much to teach you how to write a paper, which is what their message, what it was, and why I did terrible at it. No, it was to teach you how to write a paper so that someone else can read it and it makes sense. That was it. Oh, okay. That makes way more sense because before, like, you're like, this is how you write a paper, and I was thinking, like, I can write a paper. Fuck that. Like, I don't need you to tell me how to write a paper, but to write a paper that everyone understands, that makes more sense. Like, if you tell me that's why you learn math, I would learn math because, okay, that makes sense. Math is like a language. The whole point of knowing it is just, like, when you're measuring something and you're, doing math or doing the measurements and whatnot to break it down into something else, it's so that you can take it from your head and put it in their head, or for them to have it in their head and put it in your head. And in that sense, it makes sense, and that's what makes me want to do it. But I didn't have that growing up, and it took until college, right? Basically, and a lot of the teachers fucking retired, quit, or got replaced forever because of bullshit, and they want the world to fucking suffer as a result. That's why I'm asking if you fucking participated, because you're a fucking idiot, and you don't seem to fucking have it, and it seems like you didn't fucking try. Like, I went to school and failed out of school because, for example, I took psychology. For example, I took a lot of different classes, but in psychology, they had us talk about Pavlov and the dogs and how they were drooling because of a bell and steak, right? And on the test, it was asked me, who was the guy who did that test with the dogs and the bell and the steak? And I was like, fuck, I don't remember his name. I failed the test because I couldn't remember people's names, but I knew what the work was. So now, as an adult, or now that somebody who knows, because the school failed me, right? Someone who now knows that the system failed me, I can go back and say, your test sucked, because you should have been testing that for me to know his name or to know his lesson, essentially. And if they know the lesson, then that works just as well as you knowing the name, because that's the point. Whatever his name was, the point is to get to his work, right? But they decided to fail me because I forgot his name, and that's what you do. That's what a lot of fucking people do in, like, when video games, when they try to teach you how to play. It's not that you're teaching you how to play, it's you're teaching them how you play, and that's not how to play the game. Everyone has their own fucking cup of tea. Show them how, how, like, it works. You know what I'm saying? They might have different habits than you. They might be better than you. They may show you how you were wrong. But if the whole point is to copy you, then you both might be fucking up, right? That's the idea behind it. And that's kind of what the system is. So,
And during that conversation, one of Biden's closest former allies comes out and says, Biden's in the Epstein files. Do you think the conversation would immediately go somewhere else? It says, Vector,
again,
the
false alpha.
FBI investigated Epstein. How does this not asked while this is happening? Here's the follow-up clip. This is where the conversation eventually goes.
He is a false alpha. He has no idea how to teach you. He has no structure, no guidance, no knowledge, no awareness, no intelligence. He's lacking in education as well, and he's trying to tell you this is how to do it. But the problem is he doesn't know how to do it, and he's telling you how to do it. And the only reason why he is popping off is because the people in charge, or the rich people, are paying for him to be doing well. And like the algorithm, basically, it's like, oh, he says what we want him to say, he does very well. It's kind of like how Trump was like, hey, you're pretty, tax cuts. You're ugly, what's it called, more taxes. That's basically what that guy, like, you are in. That's the system you're encouraging, essentially. Go watch and in fact, I'll put it after this video. There's a video that I have linked. It's called "Don't Be a Sucker." Watch it, because that's what you are. You're a sucker because he's sucking your dick right now. You think you're winning. That is until you watch him suck somebody else's dick, and then you're on the opposite side of the fence, and suddenly you're like, oh my god, I don't like Trump anymore. You're taking my land. Like what happened when he first ran. Like, oh, Trump, I love him. And then he took their land, and he's like, what the hell, I hate Trump. I love Trump. Oh my god, you're taking my husband. I hate Trump. Like, that's what happens. All of us, and if you don't learn what the fuck, that's what history is for. Right? To make sure no one repeats their fucking mistakes. And that's exactly what you guys are fucking doing.
This is just 2 minutes later.
But let's take the other 50% of that. It's just
This is just 2 minutes later. You mean, so they added context, and then they probably talked with the context, and there's probably like 4 context changes in that, so we're completely in a different spot, in a different direction, somewhere random compared to it used to be, but you're tying them together. Yeah, you definitely didn't go to school.
constantly pushing out information to sell T-shirts or subscriptions.
Like that,
or,
now those words don't mean anything anymore if you're calling you that.
well, that's what I mean.
You're not a dictator, and you're not
I think
What does that have to do with anything? Okay, so subscriptions and dictator mean nothing if you're a what? I don't understand how. What?
And just look what happened with the Hunter Biden laptop story, where 51 former intelligence agents testified that this.
Thank you for bringing that up.
That tell me about how crazy that is.
You're talking about Hunter Biden now.
What the fuck? Do you know when I say the word dictator? Do you get mad? Do you get offended? Do you know what context is? How stupid must you be if you don't know what context is? Look at your face. You're so proud of being ignorant. You're so fucking proud of being stupid and ignorant and farmed. Like, you're the farmer of sheep and there's someone farming you who's farming them. Good job. Everything that you fucking get from them, they get some of. Right? It's just like DoorDash. Basically, like, you work to deliver something and you get $4. Meanwhile, they make $8 and you made 4, but you're the one fucking driving your car, doing your work, and you have to pay for your car and all this bullshit. And then something happens, it's your fault, and they had nothing to do with it. Like, and you're okay with it. What the fuck is wrong with you?
A man who, by the way, was never in government. Biden, of course, is no longer the president. What? How do you move off one of the biggest?
That's why we like you, because you make everybody else talk about something that doesn't matter. So we keep bringing you up because we want everyone else to be off the mark too. And then we don't like this known guy because everything he says is right on the money. We don't want people to be accurate and know exactly what to talk about and exactly how to treat and not exactly what to do and how to fucking live and how to blah 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 blah. Like, that's why we want to bring him up or talk about him. But we'll bring you up because you're stupid. You don't know anything.
Biggest news items ever and turn it into a Hunter Biden discussion. You could have
You're
brought
dumb.
up things like the fact that there's videos of Trump and Epstein together. Many videos. They were close friends.
Cool.
Old videos.
I
Newer
don't see what this
pictures
has
and
to do
videos
with
of them
anything.
together.
Cool.
Not to mention Jeffrey Epstein on tape saying I was Donald Trump's closest friend. These are
Cool.
should maybe be part of the discussion right now
Cool.
when this bombshell drops.
I don't see a bombshell. Just because you call it bombshell doesn't make it a bombshell. I mean, technically it does in your liberal, nothing's reality. Nothing's real. We all live in the Matrix fucking fantasy world where, like, what's it called? An ant has the same potential for a nuclear bomb as a nuclear bomb does because they're made of. It doesn't matter what they're made out of. It's just you just imagine it's true because we live in RP world, a pretend world, a fantasy world, and blah blah blah.
But no, Hunter Biden is is what's top of mind. Somebody who was never in government, never had power over any.
It doesn't matter. Again, you said 2 minutes later. They talked about like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 things beforehand. Just because he came up doesn't mean he was the top of the moment. But you're making him the top of the moment. And that's why they're propagating you. Because you're a fucking idiot.
Anybody. Why was this ever a story to begin with?
It wasn't.
The whole thing is so bizarre. But
Okay, so that was a story. Indeed. Right? But that has nothing to do with the other story. That's why I said it doesn't. This story may have been popular once upon a time, but has nothing to do with what happened on Joe Rogan. And yet, for some reason, you're acting like it's the same thing, but they're not, you fucking idiot.
even if you did for some reason care about Joe Biden's son, who again, for the third time now, was never in government, it's a years old story.
Again, there was no context. We don't know. Maybe there's like 5 or 6 different things that they talked about beforehand and it came up. It's allowed to come up. Just because it came up doesn't mean it was the focus, but you're acting like it was the focus. That's why you propagated it again.
You are moving off of one of the biggest bombshells ever.
How is that a bombshell? What's a bombshell? How are they on it? Like they made mention of it. Who cares? Like I understand they could have made it a thing, but they didn't. And then you're acting like, oh, it should be a thing. And then you're acting like you're doing what Kaku does. Where it's like you're trying to create this field in science that doesn't exist, string theory. And then you're trying to prove theories. And then you're using that proof for other theories. And then you're trying to prove those theories with the proof of theories. Like, there's no logic here. There's no reason here. It's all poo caca fairy tale magic pixie dust. Like, what the fuck?
Elon Musk just dropped into a years old story that never mattered to begin with. Let me get to just a different kind of reaction. This one from Steve Bannon, who went nuclear on Elon Musk.
Of course he did. Because Trump's his baby. He needs them to work together. And because Elon Musk bails on Trump, who was Trojan number 2, now Bannon's like, well, fuck. I can't bring Elon back, so now I gotta ruin Elon and ruin his credibility so no one listens to him. So anything he says, everyone just kind of overlooks because he may end up ruining Trump. But I can't have that because if it wasn't for Trump and the fact that he's a Trojan horse, I wouldn't have access to the government and I wouldn't be able to take healthcare cuts to benefit the rich and to do what Trump said he wouldn't do. We're doing, and Trump is gonna take the hit for it, not us. Trump, he's a fall guy, and without him, if he is out the gate, then I'm fucked. So I have to fuck over Elon Musk in order to validate Trump, so I can continue to and to keep going until I get my tax cuts. Then I'm fucking rich, and then I can do whatever. I don't care. Then I'm gonna leave. Basically, like the whole Bush and shit, the 9/11, all kinds of crap, and all that shit, right?
Saying Bannon says he told Trump to investigate Musk as an illegal alien, and on his show he said this:
SpaceX. President Trump tonight should sign an executive order calling for the Defense Production Act to be called in SpaceX and seize SpaceX tonight before midnight. The U.S. government should seize it. If a guy's going to sit there and start making quotes, also as
yes, I gotta ruin you before you ruin us. That's all it is. That's all it is. But I use manipulation and trickery and bullshit to try to trick you fucking idiots into doing what I gotta get you to do what I want you to do while I continue to fuck little Mexican girls in the border and take them and ICE keeps locking them up. And guess what? little bitches that are locked up in prison make great fuck toys. Fuck yeah, said Steve Bannon, and no one's fucking doing anything.
As Stuart Stevens talked back in January, I don't know why we haven't had a full investigation. Look, if you're going to deport illegal aliens, you got to deport illegal aliens. The good go with the good, the goose and the gander.
Yeah, but the point is, remember, before it was fine, but now that he turned away from Trump, and now he starts calling out Trump, and now he's like, oh, he has got to go, he's got to go, because he's trying to save Trump from fucking, if he loses Trump, he loses everything, and he knows that. So he's trying to get rid of Elon Musk, but they got rid of Jeffrey Epstein, by the way, and that's why 9/11 happened, by the way. It's because they need to fucking get rid of that before you fucking blow the whole thing up.
They got to go back to this, as Stuart Stevens talked about, and go through everything about his immigration status. I happen to believe, given the facts that I've been shown, that he's an illegal alien, and illegal aliens got to be deported.
While Joe Rogan,
The guy on the left and right, by the way, if you look, like, completely oblivious fucking sheep that are like, yes, sir, right away, sir, we'll do it, sir, whatever you want, sir, okay, sir, and they're soldiers for the Nazi. This is the Nazi Confederacy rise again, basically. That's what it is. God will, whatever the fuck his thing says behind him. And again, he is all about God, because religion is his tool for exploitation. I can't get you to obey me, but you obey God, and God obeys me. So I'm using God to get you to do it I want, basically. That's what he's doing, and the same thing for Trump. Just like when I talked to T-Mobile, basically, you're too stupid. If you don't agree with me, you're too dumb. Like, get me in touch with your parents. Get me in touch with what's called Biden. Get me in touch with Obama, Hillary Clinton, Elon Musk. I bet me and him would get along. Biden, I bet me and him would get along. Like, anybody who's smart, I guarantee me and them are gonna see eye to eye, and they're like, you're alpha as fuck, dude, holy shit. Like, anybody who's just like that one fool that met black dude, buff dude, muscles, a six pack, he had arm muscles, like he's a fucking cuss motherfucker. He's like, you a real nigga, like you a real nigga. He had his fucking hair and a fucking dude, he had like a comb and shit, like on the hood and shit. He's like, you a real nigga, you a real nigga. Gave me the fucking bro hug and shit. He's like, yeah. And like, I'm fucking disabled, brain tumor, fucking, what's it called, I'm suffering from pain. I need my medication. I didn't have nothing. I'm fucked, and yet I'm talking to this dude, and he's like, "You a real nigga. You a real nigga." So,
that he's an illegal alien, and illegal aliens got to be deported.
while Joe Rogan can barely muster up an opinion, let alone ask a proper question to the sitting FBI director right across from him when the
I have nothing to do with anything. I don't know anything about anything. I have no involvement. I have no knowledge. No nothing. But I will form opinions because like shoe on head, it's like shoe in mouth, and that's exactly what I do. The same fucking thing. I don't know anything, but I talk like I know. But I have no fucking clue about nothing. And you should listen to me because I know nothing. Like what the fuck, dude?
news breaks, Steve Bannon is very clear in his position and his hatred of Elon Musk. And
you're dumbass to not understand why. I've explained it already. He hates Elon Musk because Elon Musk will ruin Trump, and if Elon Musk ruins Trump, then he ruins Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon is only getting what he wants because he has Trump doing it, basically. But the second Trump doesn't have any power, neither does Steve Bannon. So he needs or Elon Musk to go away and to protect Trump, to protect himself. Because you idiots are too stupid to fucking know what page 2 and page 3 is. Goddamn.
this is not surprising. He has actually been critical of Elon Musk a little bit during his stint in the White House. But it is a good indication of where a lot of MAGA stands right now.
Yeah, real quick, he made a little mention with the White House, but for some reason now he's gotta be deported. He's gotta be deported tonight. Gotta be deported tonight. But back then, I'm winning wars. I'm getting stuff done. I get to use him. He's a tool to my benefit. I'm benefiting from him. He can be around. But now he's anti-Trump, and he's like, get him out of here, kill him like Jeffrey Epstein, like 9/11. Go. Fucking idiots.
And that is with Trump and against Musk.
Yes, the tariffs and COVID, healthcare, and how there's a bunch of red fucking dots all over California because of the fucking COVID bullshit. How they're moving goalposts for the healthcare during COVID. Like a bunch of companies were trying to stay open and stay relevant, but they kept changing the goalposts. So basically, moving the goalpost, and eventually they say we can't stay anymore. And they closed. They fell. And they ran in and bought it all, just like the tariffs. Marjorie Taylor Greene ran in and bought all that shit. When Trump was like, I'm going to raise the tariffs for steel. And then so everyone sold all their shit. And then they ran in and bought all their shit. And the fucking, what's it called? Then Trump was like, just changing my mind. Just kidding. Because that was the whole fucking plan, you fucking idiots.
Unless you're being paid by Elon Musk on Twitter, in which case you stand with Elon Musk because it personally benefits you. Just as it personally benefits Bannon to stick with Trump. I mean, I want to be clear here. I'm not giving Bannon any credit for having a position. It's just the contrast where you have a podcast like Joe Rogan's that is so popular. People still listen and watch Joe Rogan. I don't think he's number one anymore.
Because you're the idiot, not Joe Rogan. You are. If Joe Rogan was an idiot, he'd be gone. It's my argument the same with giraffes. If giraffes had a problem with it, they were designed the way that they are for a reason. If that reason didn't exist, or if it wasn't working, they wouldn't be alive right now. If it was a problem, they wouldn't be here, is my point. But they're here. The reason why is because it's working. Just like Joe Rogan, he is around because he is popular. Despite what you think and or say and or feel, right? That's why he is still around. You are a puppet for them because you're too stupid to see that they're using you. They're weaponizing you. Your fame, you owe your fame to them, to the algorithm. Basically, and again, I'm denied just like Bernie was because the algorithm, basically, the Bernie blackout was real. It was a thing. He was speaking truth to power, and they didn't like that, so they shut him up. Basically, that's what's going on. You, on the other hand, are fucking speaking ignorance to bullshit, and they love it because they need you to fucking divide them more, so they can conquer more.
But he's still, in the top 5. And massive breaking news hits, and it's the perfect storm. That news hits while you're recording, and you're sitting across from the FBI director.
Yes. You're so informed. Look at you, false alpha. Read the papers. I'm so fucking glad you're actually paying attention. You're reading the papers just like fucking Trump's stooges. You're probably fucking hired from them. You probably work for Trump and you're probably on his payroll, you fucking idiots. I wouldn't be surprised if you work for Steve Bannon. And honestly, it seemed like you are. Like you and I'll say it before I go. I wouldn't be surprised if these people work for Steve Bannon, basically, because they're ego-driven, reporter, idiot, sellout, fakers, and they don't seem to have a fucking idea what the truth is. The fact is, it's Luke Beasley, Adam Mockler, Chris Mowry, Kyle Klinsky, David Pakman, I thought you were there, but you're not. The Ration. Oh. I think your name is David, but I don't know. The Rash. I put the Rational David. The Rational National. Philip DeFranco, Colin Wexton, Son Parker, Jim Poole, Caroline Levitt, Sarah Huckabee, Laura Trump, Mike Huckabee, Kellyanne Conway, Peter Ducey, Kellyanne Conway, Caroline, where is it? Kellyanne Conway, Peter Ducey, Caroline Levitt, Asmongold, Long Island Audit, Seanhead, Destiny, Bill Burr, Russell Peters, Conan O'Brien, Nero, Zerg. You are false alphas. You report the reporters, or yeah. Basically, there's another one called the Megan Gazette Press. Basically, you're trying to be a First Amendment honor, but you're just a fucking asshole because what you're doing had nothing to do with First Amendment. But at the same time, what you were doing actually helped promote businesses, so that was fine. You guys are exactly the same thing. What Emaru is, basically, she's a girl who was attractive and useful and can be something, but now she's a fucking slut and a dumb bitch, and she thinks she's winning, and she's doing it for attention or whatnot, but really she's just a fuck toy for some dudes, and so she's ended up dying alone because she doesn't realize she's giving her best years to people just using you, and they have no intention to ever be with her. The Bernie blackout did happen, cancel culture or murder, no working together. And again, Jeffrey Epstein, 9/11 was an inside job. COVID, shutdowns, moving goalposts, the tariffs, Taylor Green exploits the stock market. Anyways, yeah, yep. That's it. You're a dumbass. David, I think your name was. The Rational National, you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You don't seem to understand the truth of the matter. You're a fucking moron. You think you know, but you have no fucking idea. You have no fucking clue. That's how fucking stupid you are. Or should I say how smart you are? You're so smart. The fact is, you're fucking stupid. That's how smart you are. Oh my fucking god, work. Thank you. Anyways, I'm gonna get here, so be well, be safe, have a good one, everybody else. Fuck you, David from the Rational National. You fucking idiot. You have no fucking idea. But anyways, I'm out here, so peace.